Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Once Upon a Time live stream review. Today, we'll be talking about Once Upon a Time's Changelings. So as I wait for everyone to start showing up, I'll just offer my quick thoughts to the episode. So I have to say, I thought Changelings was fantastic. I really didn't expect it to be so good. And the reason why I was a little hesitant going into it was because it was a Belle and Rumpelstiltskin episode. And the Belle episodes I always find to be a little weaker in comparison to, say, a Captain Swan episode or even a Swan Queen episode. I just don't think Belle and Rumple are the best, and also I don't think Emily DeRaven is a super strong actress. But tonight, she really owned the role of Belle. She was so good. She was so good, and it's really interesting because the trailer for this episode really emphasized Rumple becoming malevolent, becoming really evil, becoming really beast-like, and it was kind of the opposite. It was a very opposite end result with him becoming I guess relatively sympathetic, but because the evil queen framed him for for aging up the baby. So it's interesting. I still don't like him. In my second sneak peek review, I said I wanted to give Into the Darkness because I think that would make him more of an interesting character. Just because I don't want to see him be likable then dislikable then likable then likable. Like it's extremely peaks and valleys. So that's how I feel about the character overall. But I think that my consensus about that has been well known. So let's do the flashback first. Jacob Hera just said, what did I think of the Black Fairy? And because I wanted to talk about her, we're going to do flashback, and then we'll talk about the present day. The present day really is the nitty-gritty of the episode. Now, a lot of you were saying that the baby was going to be Jack and Jill's baby. And I actually thought Jack and Jill was going to have some ramifications in the present. That was not the case at all. It was weird. The couple who we took the baby from was not even named. So I thought that was weird in some regard, because everyone's like, oh, it's Jack and Jill. I'm like, well, I only know that's Jack. I don't even know if it's Jack and Jill. But so the Black Fairy is Rumpelstiltskin's mother. That's so interesting. So let's see. The Black Fairy is the mother to Rumpelstiltskin and her lover. I'm not saying husband. I highly doubt they were married. Is Peter Pan. So a fairy married Peter Pan, which means that that Peter Pan had his Tinkerbell on some level. So I think that's hysterical. Now, Hogwarts Streamer 113 said, we finally know Rumple's mother. Kind of random to me, but oh well. Yes, I felt that it was very random. It didn't seem to make any sense. Now, I thought the flashback was really well done because of the lighting. I thought it was so well lit. It was so pretty being in Rumple's castle, being in the library, and then even when we're in like that dark scene when we find out who the fairy was, I thought it was just done really well. Again, visuals this season have been so fantastic. I love it. So what's interesting to me is Belle, by the way, I want to quickly talk about her, is Belle. She reminded me a lot of Dorothy. Did anyone get a Dorothy from Oz vibe? And I'm not talking about the Dorothy on Once Upon a Time. I'm talking about Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz movie, Judy Garland's Oz. I really felt that just the way that Belle looked, like just her hair, the lighting, the way, even her dress. I know her dress is supposed to be very iconic to the Belle dress from the movie, but I really felt that we were getting a Judy Garland portrayal here with Belle, and I thought that was really nice. I really did like that. Jacob Hera just said the Black Fairy was so deliciously evil, and I completely agree. He was extremely deliciously evil. She was extremely deliciously evil, and I loved it. I really loved her introduction, and I really hope that we see more of her. I believe the Black Fairy was introduced in season 3. I could be wrong. I might have gone back further, but I think it was 3. And I really want to see more of the Black Fairy going forward, just because I think that she could be a fun adversary or ally to our Evil Queen Serum. And at the same time, I think that you don't want to give us a character who you've hyped up for quite a long time and then leave it as kind of a one-off. It was total. It wouldn't work. It would be very sloppy, in my perspective. So the whole point of the flashback is that Rumple's mom's the Black Fairy. I think they could have done that a lot faster. Like they really tried to lead up to it. I believe it was the 4th time we went to the flashback that we finally got the reveal. They could have probably revealed it by 15, 20 minutes into the episode. But that's really not a big deal. So anyway, I did like the flashback. I think lighting wise, just Belle's her dress, it was excellent. So I like the flashback. It's one of the few flashbacks that's focusing on Rumble that I really, really enjoyed. So let's try to break up the present day storyline because there's so much. It was awesome. It was awesome. And by the way, I loved the trailer for next week's episode. I did a trailer review of it. You guys have probably already have seen it. I think next week's mid-season finale is going to be awesome as well. I really have loved it. So in the present day, the evil queen gets betrayed by Rumpelstiltskin, and she doesn't like that. Obviously, she doesn't take any strike against her, and so she decided to frame Rumple by aging up Belle's baby. And one thing I really, really loved about the present is the fact that they referenced the season 5 episode Birth. I believe this is episode 9 of 6. So Emma aged up Zelina's baby in Birth in season 8. So I like the fact that almost a whole year later, we're getting a reference all the way to that. That was really, really cool. So I see you guys are talking about the Black Fairy, not the Black Fairy, excuse me, Aladdin as the genie. We'll totally be discussing that. And OUAT 09, you asked me to give my thoughts on Zelina and Regina. That's going to be my next subject of conversation. So anyway, I really did just love the evil queen here. And speaking of the evil queen, the evil queen decided to go after Zelina. Now, the beginning scene of the episode where Rumple aged the fairy to send the message that he's coming after Belle, he said to the evil queen, "Get rid of Zelina." And she seemed relatively hesitant, but then she was like, "Yeah, whatever. Who cares?" And she goes right after Zelina. And I was kind of expecting a little bit more of a magic battle between the two of them. You know, the one thing that I think is relatively unfortunate is with season 3, when they did the whole Wicked versus Evil, the magic battles on the show are relatively lacking, I feel. I think Merlin versus Emma in season 5, I believe the episode was Broken Heart, it's either Broken Heart or Birth. I'm not 100% positive which one it was. But that was probably one of the best magic battles. It was very Harry Potter-ish, I would say. I think it's Broken Heart. So I really was expecting more of the Wicked versus Evil vibe, and we didn't get that. But then Regina saves Zelina by starting to crush her own heart, which in turn crushes the evil queen's heart. And I like that. I was like, oh, we're gonna get amends. They're gonna get amends. Zelina and Regina are going to make up, and it doesn't happen. And I'm like, why? Like, I get it. Regina is mad at Zelina for what happened to Robin Hood. I totally understand why she's mad. She needs something to get her anger out. But hey, Emma went to therapy. Why can't Zelina go to therapy? I don't think that Regina should be holding a grudge to Zelina for what happened to Robin Hood, because it wasn't Zelina's fault that Robin Hood died. And I don't like the fact that Regina is holding that against her at all, because again, I don't believe it was her fault. So yeah, Jacob just said Zelina just gave up, and I didn't like that. It kind of felt out of character. The Wicked Witch doesn't really seem to give up, so I thought that was interesting. But I did like the fact that Zelina wanted to make amends. So following the evil queen versus the Wicked Witch, and Regina essentially rejecting Zelina, and we go into the nitty-gritty breadth of the episode where Belle's baby gets born. So Emma and Hook are trying to stop him with squidding, but because he's so powerful, thanks to being the Dark One 10 times over, maybe, I'm not sure how many times he became the Dark One. But I know a lot of you guys are commenting. I'm trying to keep up with them, but at the same time, I want to also make sure that we get a nice review. And then keep throwing your questions back out, because I will discuss them as much as I will discuss them all. So I promise I'll get to them. So they try to bind him. They can't find the scissors, and then Belle gives birth. And again, as I already mentioned in the beginning, Belle gives birth because of the whole being I guess infected with the magic of the evil queen, and she blames Rumple, and then she decides to give the baby up to give him his best chance, and the blue fairy is the one to take the baby away. I believe the baby's name is Gideon, I like the name. I like the name Gideon there. I'm glad it wasn't Morpheus. If anyone else is happy that they didn't name the baby Morpheus, please say I, because I was very, very happy she didn't go with Morpheus. At one point, I thought she might have done Maurice after her mother, but I think Gideon is a nice name. And it's also, I also really like how she gave the book Her Handsome Hero to the baby, which was the title of episode 17 of 5, and obviously the book that Belle's mother read to her. So then Belle gave the baby up, Rumple got blamed, no one will forgive Rumple, and then, Gold Queen's over. And that's essentially the episode. I thought it was a fantastic episode. I really felt that it played well. I think the flashback worked for the story. And that's terrible. You all said I to the name. I love that. So anyway, I really did enjoy the whole episode. I thought it was quite well done. So now this is your turn to just throw your questions out to me. So OUET Insider asked me, who do you think kills Emma in her visions? I have to say, I really don't know who I think could kill her. In my head, I always thought maybe it was her dark self come to light. I mean, they hyped up the whole sword thing that she found, and I thought, oh, maybe Excalibur got reformed, but I don't know. I really have no idea as to who could kill her. I don't think. I really am stumped. It cannot be Regina. That doesn't make any sense. I think Hook and her parents are in the vision, so there's them. I'm thinking it's Jafar. That could either be, excuse me, that it's in the cloak. A couple people were saying Morpheus is in the cloak. I don't think it's Morpheus. That doesn't make any sense to me. So my guess is it's her dark half, it's Morpheus, or it's Jafar. Or like, I don't think it's the baby, unless the baby somehow comes back because the blue fairy took him away. Oh, also, I totally missed a very big portion not big, a small portion of this episode that is very crucial to next week, and that's Aladdin and Jasmine. Now, Karen David, I think, is a fantastic Princess Jasmine. I love her as Jasmine. I think she's so good. If any of you guys have seen Moana, for the thing, go see it. It's excellent. I said, let's talk about Moana being incorporated into Once Upon a Time. I did a whole video about that. And it's funny because some princesses get like a great vibes, great energy by the writers. And then, that doesn't happen with some other characters. I think Anna, Elsa, Merida, get tons of writing and great screen time. Ariel got good writing, but it's a little meh. Jasmine, I think, is getting a funny treatment because I really like what they're doing, but she's not on screen enough. So I like the fact that Jasmine wants to get back to Agrabah. That was really nice. It's her whole thing. It's her whole gimmick. She wants to save her kingdom as the princess. And Aladdin, finds the lamp, and then he becomes the genie with the golden cuffs. I loved the Robin Williams efforts. Jacob Harrod just did the same thing, and I really did like the references to Robin Williams. And now, hi Chris Hack, and now Aladdin's the genie, which is going to cause a huge part of next week. And I was very surprised. Art Master Austin Prophet just said I was very surprised that Jafar is not in the lamp. I was very surprised about that too. I think Jafar's lamp is black. I know in the movie it was black. I forget how it looks in Once Upon a Time Wonderland. I'm guessing it's black. So I'm not really sure where his lamp is or how they're going to bring it back. Odette Fair's only been in 2 episodes this season so far, which is weird. Like, Jafar was really supposed to be hyped up as well. Jafar, Hyde, and the Evil Queen Serum were really supposed to be hyped up. And now, Hyde's dead. Aladdin and Jasmine are kind of pushed away. And I think I just blanked on something. And Hyde's dead. So anyway, so Jafar, so Aladdin has now become the genie of the lamp, and I can't wait to see that get portrayed. I really did like how they have the cuffs to make him the genie. That's interesting. I really wonder if they're going to go into more genie lore to discuss more, like how the cuffs make you a genie. I guess there's many ways to become one. So I really, as I've already said, I really like this episode. I think it was really well done. I think the acting was great. I thought the little Captain Swell moments we had were nice. So, now I am all done with my review. I've seen a lot of your questions. So if you guys don't mind, just throw them back up. Throw them back up to me, and I will totally discuss it. And thank you, Kevin, for telling me that his lamp is at the bottom of a well in Wonderland. That's interesting. I highly doubt they're ever going to get that back. To Play Cool 21 said, where are the Untold Stories? I thought the Three Musketeers were coming. I thought they were coming too. I thought that would have been a great Untold Story to have out and apparently not. The whole untold story gimmick is relatively done at this point. The mid-season finale doesn't seem like it's going to be focused on another character, so because it's focused so much on Emma and Aladdin, I guess. It's interesting. I'm not really sure what the next untold story could be. I think that whole idea has been gone since episode 5. It's weird. I don't like it. I don't like when something is hyped up to be something and it turns out to be the exact opposite. So Andy Azim just asked me, do I think Regina is going to sacrifice herself? Well, she seemed relatively willing to do it tonight, and I'm really curious if she'll do it to stop the Evil Queen. I'm guessing in my trailer review, I said the Evil Queen serum is going to be around for a while, but if she had to go, it would be this episode. But I just don't see Lana Parrilla dying. It doesn't make any sense on the show for them to cut her off. I just think if you guys watched The Walking Dead, when people thought Daryl was going to die, there was a whole thing, Daryl dies, we riot. I feel like if Regina dies, the fandom will riot. So, but I don't think Regina's going to sacrifice herself. Jacob Harry just asked me, what do I think of the Blue Fairy as Cinderella's, or not fairy, not Cinderella's. What do I think of the Blue Fairy as Belle's child's fairy godmother? I don't really think that's super significant. I think that she just kind of said, will you be the fairy godmother to, essentially take the baby away? And I'm actually really curious where the baby is. I really am wondering where it went. I thought the Evil Queen put a curse over Storybrooke so people couldn't leave. So I'm not sure how even the Blue Fairy got out of the barrier. That's interesting. So let's see. The Disney Lover 58 said, why are the writers screwing over Belle, Rumpel, and Zelina, and even Regina? I asked because doesn't seem like a chance of change, but just a custom history. I don't know. Sometimes the writers just like to cause fun chaos for chaos's sake. I don't think it always works. I think it's very sloppy. That's why I call it out. That's why I call them out on it as much as I can, because I don't think that the writing on the show all the time is so perfect. Because when you see a character who you love go, in the total opposite direction, you go, why? Because there's never normally a performance with the acting, because you normally fall so much in love with the acting. You cause issue with the writing. And I'm not sure why. I really think the writers of the show just like to screw up things, or either that or they're running out of ideas. Albia Gomez just asked me, what's your opinion on Belle right now? Well, I've never been a supporter of Rumpelstiltskin and Belle. I don't like them as a couple. To be fair, I didn't like Belle with Will Scarlet either. I'm not really sure who I would want Belle to be with, but I'm happy that she doesn't want to be with him. I never have liked them as a couple. I think, he had the opportunity so many times to change. Had he not taken Hook's sacrifice from him in season 5 and become the Dark One again, I think actually he'd be a great couple. They'd be fine. I would support it. I wouldn't want them to break up, but the fact that they're broken up, I don't want them to get back together. That's how I feel about that. All right, 2PlayCool21 just asked me, do you think Regina relates to Snow White because Regina is behaving like her now, especially when it comes to forgiveness? I'm not sure. I think Regina's always related to Snow White on some level. She definitely has had her moments with Snow. I think one of my favorite moments with Snow White and Regina was back in season 4, where they talked about having hope. I really did enjoy that. Art Master Prophet just asked, could the Evil Queen wish Robin to come back in some way to temporarily mess with Regina? Well, I believe that Robin is coming back post mid-season finale. I believe it's coming back in whenever the show re-airs. I'm not sure if it re-airs in January, which I doubt it. If it airs in February or March, I think that's when Robin's coming back. So maybe that's when Sean Maguire is coming. Oh, so all right. So Brianna Huckle just said Sean Maguire is going to be in episode 10. Well, that's the next episode. So I guess he's back then. That's interesting. OUAT09 said Moana should be an untold story. What do you think? I think Moana should be its own arc. I really think that the show should go back to arcs. I like arcs. I think it's much better than what they're doing here. I got so used to it, and I just really like that pattern. I think I talked about how I want Moana to be done on the show on the off chance they do it. And I think it could be a fantastic arc, especially if they do the island hopping idea that I talked about. Andis Adim just asked me what happened to Excalibur. If you remember, Excalibur was dissolved in Swan Song is when it died, is when it broke up. Jacob Harris asked me, is a dragon still stuck in the mirror? I think he is. He wasn't pulled out. from the mirror, as far as I know. So yeah, I think he's still behind there. So they might need to get him back. Princess of the Birds 357 just said, "Hey Rob, what do you think of what do you think of Belle getting together with an untold story?" I think that would be fine. I think that would be fine. They need to find a character to get her to work with. I'm not sure if Belle needs a relationship. I mean, the whole deal with Belle was being with the Beast, right? And I think one of the beauties, pun, of Beauty and the Beast was the Beast was a very angry character. So for the Beast had all this opportunity to become a good guy, and he did. And then he shed the Beast light, figuratively and literally. And I mean, who else could Belle be with besides Rumple? But maybe she'll just go single. I guess it'd be weird if the Beauty from Beauty and the Beast is not supposed to be with the Beast. Let's see. So a lot of you guys are talking about Robin Hood and Robin Hood coming back. I have no clue how Robin's going to come back. I really don't know. I think it'd be crazy. It is crazy, in my opinion, that they're bringing back Sean Maguire. Sean Maguire threw like a bunch of, not hate tweets, but he threw a bunch of tweets out there saying, you know, when I leave a show, I don't like to come back to it. But now he's like, yay, I'm coming back to Once Upon a Time. I can't wait. And I don't know. How do I feel about it? I think it's foolish. I think they should never have killed him off. I don't think that Outlaw Queen was a stronger couple, and I think they actually needed more time to get back to become more developed. So as to how I feel about him coming back, I mean, it is what it is. I doubt it's forever. All right, so I got more questions. So 2PlayCool21 said, should Elsa come back? I wonder how the Frozen characters are doing now. Most likely the Frozen characters have been given their happy ending. Should they come back? Yes, I think Elsa should come back for an episode or two. I would love to see Elsa return. I could live without Anna, Kristoff, and Hans, and whomever. I could even live without the Snow Queen, but I would love to see Georgina Hagg return as Elsa. All right. Danielle Marcella said, so now that we've met Rumple's mother, what about Killian's? I'd love to know what happened to her. I'm not sure about Killian's mom. I did say in my Should Moana Come to Once Upon a Time, we could have a flashback with Moana. And I think that would be a fun opportunity to bring Killian's mom into that. Maybe she was a witch from a Pacific island. I think that'd be kind of cool. So I would like to see it at some point addressed, but it's not something I'm like saying must see. What I must see is the winter finale, because I think the winter finale is going to be excellent. Kevin C just asked, what would you think if they made the evil queen a genie and hid her in a lamp away forever like Jafar? I think that's a great way to get rid of her. Kevin, that's a great idea. They were trying to think of ways to get rid of her. They thought locking her in the mirror would work. That obviously failed, but making her a genie, but then again, she gets the powers of the genie, and then if someone rubs the lamp, you know, it causes an issue if she comes out. But I do like that if they lock her up. That would be really cool. Austin Art Master Often Prophet just asked, Rob, do you think the blue was the Dark Fairy in disguise and blue took Gideon? I don't think that. I think the Dark Fairy is her own character. I don't think it would make sense to intermingle the two at the moment anyway, unless they have a really, really good reason. OUAT09 said Elsa should go to the Untold Stories. I don't think Elsa would be an Untold Story since Frozen's already been told. But maybe she could interact with someone from the Untold Story land. I'm not really 100% how to do it properly, but I think it really could be done to resurrect the Frozen arc. All right, so let's see. Brianna Hawk just asked, do you think now that we know of Rumple's parents are evil, the dagger isn't really what made him dark, but it was the fact that his darkness has always been inside of him? Well, his mother wasn't always evil. His mother was a fairy, apparently, and then she became evil. We don't really know what tricked her into becoming evil or what allowed it. And Peter Pan was evil, yes, but he wasn't evil prior to fathering Rumple. He just was a con man. He wasn't really a good guy. So I don't think that even though he has some bad parentage, it's not the dagger's fault that he's evil. The darkness is what truly has corrupted him. Animal Lover 2212 asked me, do you think that the dark, excuse me, who do you honestly think is under the hood? I really don't know. I really haven't had the opportunity to really sit down and reflect about it. My initial thought was it's evil Emma, and then I thought maybe it's Jafar. I don't think it's Regina. I can't see it being Gideon or Morpheus. Even if you guys have been saying that, it doesn't make much sense, but I'm not sure who else to do it. Jacob Harrod just said maybe Killian's dad is someone from Atlantis. I think that could be really interesting. That would be really, really cool. I did a whole Atlantis arc video. You guys have seen that. Jacob, in my Moana video, I think it was Jacob or Zach. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you guys. It's so hard to keep up with the comments. One of you guys talked about a whole Atlantis arc, like a underwater ocean time, and I think that would be really, really cool if we have like a Once Upon a Time ocean gimmick. We have Little Mermaid, we have Sinbad, we have Moana, we have Atlantis. That'd be really, really awesome. And St. Ashley just asked me, how do you think that Emma will be brought back, or do you think they will keep her in the fairy tale forever? There's no way they're going to keep Jennifer Morrison as a fairy tale princess. They're going to have to break the spell in some way. I'm not sure as to how. I don't think it will last the whole I don't think it'll last the whole episode. But I do think, however they break it, is going to cause some interesting ramifications to the show overall. I've just noticed that every mid-season finale always has a big issue. The mid-season finale of 3, they were returned back to the Ancient Forest, and Emma forgot about everyone. Mid-season finale of 4 is we have the introduction of the Queens of Darkness. Mid-season finale of 5 is everyone's going to the underworld. So I really think we have. I think the finale is going to leave us thinking for a while. So it actually probably spawned a good chunk of videos for me to make in the break, so that way we can discuss Once Upon a Time further. The Disney Lover 58 says, "What does the Black Fairy does with the baby she takes?" That's a good question. I don't have an answer. I always kind of wondered what Rumpelstiltskin would do with the babies that he takes. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to know. It's a little bit too dark. OUAT09 just said, do you think Emma should die? I do. I think it'd be nice to take away the hope. I'm going to challenge that as to why, because the whole premise of the show, minus it being fairy tales in real life, is about having hope. I think the writers have like really harped on that, like really, really, really harped on that. I don't want hope to be taken away. I don't like that. Emma's one of my favorite characters on the show. I don't think she should die at all. All right, so hold on. Let me see. Austin just wrote, Rob, what I meant is the Dark Fairy took the disguise of Blue to get Belle, maybe to get the Rumple. Oh, I don't know if the Dark Fairy decided to disguise herself as Blue. It doesn't seem that'll make sense. The Blue Fairy really seemed concerned about Rumple taking the baby. I mean, if the Dark Fairy wanted the baby, she could have just done it. So I don't think that Blue was disguised, or the Dark Fairy wasn't disguised as Blue. So Daniela Masella just said, the subject of fairies just gave me an idea regarding the land of untold stories. What do you think of Thumbelina? How do you think if she were used, would she fit into the plotline? I think Thumbelina is a great character. I did not like the Don Bluth adaptation of Thumbelina. It's a little, okay, it's not a little, it's horrible. It's like really boring. But I do think that the fairy tale would work well, especially since she gains her wings at the end of it. So I think that Thumbelina could fit in if they keep going in the untold story route. How and why? I mean, it could just be someone finds her. And they just kind of solve her untold story while dealing with whatever new issue they have. I'm guessing the curse, and I'm using the word curse lightly because curses on this show are not are not taken lightly. I don't think. Excuse me. Yeah, never mind. Forget that. All right. So Liv just said, do you think the Dark Fairy could get hold of Belle's baby, and maybe that's why it grows up dark and fights Emma? By the way, sorry I blanked on my question. I forgot my own train of thought. I'm getting so many comments. It's awesome. That'd be really interesting if the Dark Fairy is the one that takes Belle's baby, and then that's how he comes back and she ages him up. Then I guess it's going back to grandma though. So I guess it's not a bad thing that the grandma's raising him, but at the same time, you don't want it to be an evil baby. Beard Johnson too. Will Emma's wish affect Henry if she never was a savior? So from my interpretation of the trailer, I don't think when she wished she was never the savior that it wiped out everyone. I talked about it because it's the wording you need to be specific with. And she talked about herself, not saying anyone else. So I don't think that she's going to affect Henry's birth. I think that she's going to pop into her own reality. And that's where the problem is going to be, because they're going to have to find a way to get her out. Or if they do get her out, they're going to have to find a way to break the genie control, especially if they only get 3 wishes and the other 2 get used up too fast. Um, Shalyn Rasil just asked me, do I think Lily's under the hood? I think that'd be a really cool idea if Lily was under the hood. I believe, no, I know for a fact that in episode 8, they talked about the dragon being Lily's dad. So why not bring Lily back? I think Maleficent should really come back to the show. That would be really, really cool as well to have her back. Kristen Van Brouwer, I would like to see back. I think she does Maleficent really well. Though no one will do Maleficent as well as Angelina Jolie, and I really liked the Maleficent movie. All right, so, and Stanley actually asked, how do you think the evil queen got the scar on her face, the sword cut magic? I believe that's a natural scar on Lana's actual fate, on Lana's face. So I'm not sure if they actually want to incorporate it. Maybe in a war, maybe Snow White cut it. As Snow White started to become more confident and assertive, she learned how to use a sword. So I think it'd be interesting if Snow White was the reason to cut her face. But I don't think that line will ever come up. To Play Cool just asked me, would you like to go back to the underworld to see how Hyde, Jekyll, and Monte Cristo are dealing with Cruella, Arthur, and the Blind Witch? I think the underworld deserves its own side series. I personally don't want to have another underworld arc, but I obviously know Hades is gone, but I just don't even want to go down there with the sense of dealing with that. But I think Victoria Smurfett is so good as Cruella that seeing her dealing with everything would be really, really, really cool. So I'm a fan of the underworld, but I want it to be its own side joke thing and not have to go into the plot of Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time Underworld really should have been a thing because it's really where you can allow the actors who have become quite favorable to the fans, such as Liam Garrigan's Arthur, the Count of Monte Cristo, Mr. Hyde, who I believe has mixed fan favoritism, but he's one of mine favorites. So I think Once Upon a Time Underworld would be excellent. I would love that. I think it would do even better than Once Upon a Time Wonderland. The reason why I'm not really sure why Wonderland failed. I know its ratings weren't super great, which is probably the reason why. But I think Wonderland, Underworld would just have so much fun because it's villain focused, and they're not changing. They're not trying to get reformed because they like who they are, and they don't want to go on to hell. All right. So Artmaster Art from Prophet said the evil queen said you can't unwish a wish, but maybe Emma could wish her memories back, powers to be the new savior of Cerberus. I don't think you can unwish the wish, but they probably could find a wording to reverse it. There's always a way, or a true love's kiss. I mean, if you think about it, it's interesting. Snow White and Charming are still in the sleeping curse that the evil queen put on them. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that curse. We still have to break that curse too. We have a couple things we need to break. And also technically Hook's dark curse is still intact on the show as well. Not that his thing had any memory wipes because Emma restored that, but technically the dark curse is still in effect as well. I just want to make sure I get all your comments. How do you think the sword got even in Emma's garage in the first place? I'm not sure how the sword got in there. I really don't. I'm not sure how the sword was placed there. Most likely it's placed there by magic, but I'm really curious to see, who takes it. I think that's what we all want to see. We all want to see the result of this vision. The show has the ability to make plot points for plot point's sake, and that just might be one of those. For example, like the magic urn that trapped Elsa, that was literally for the purpose of bringing Elsa onto the show. There was no other reason beyond that. So hopefully the sword being there will have like a little bit of a story. Kevin C. just wrote, I think Emma could die because of death on How to Get Away with Murder. If a main character can die in that show, that means anyone can die in any show. Kevin, I think if you watched Grey's Anatomy, they killed off tons of main characters, and I think that actually probably supports your theory, but I don't think with Once Upon a Time it'll work because there's not a bunch of characters to throw the legwork to. And I just think you can't kill the savior, because if you kill the savior, what's going to happen? I mean, everything's just going to turn to dust. I keep doing that because I remember Regina doing that. I just want to make sure I have everyone's comments. Danielle just said, I'm intrigued by how they're having Regina work out issues with Zelina. She's willing to give up her own life to save her sister. She's still so angry with her. It's a cool dynamic. I think I'm happy that she's willing to sacrifice her own life because it just shown how much she's grown as a character, but I do not like that she's still being so resentful towards her sister. But anyway, it seems like everyone has wrapped up their discussion. If you guys want me to stop, I'll gladly stop. If there's anything else you want to say, get your last bit of thoughts. And we've been going for over a half hour. It's been fun. So keep it going if you want to. Ask me questions. If not, I'll happily end it. The review of the episode obviously is here, and then the stream is, or the trailer review is already there as well. Austin just said, Rob, I bet you're happy Rumple Queen ship sank. I know I am. I never supported Gold Queen. I really didn't. I did like them on the screen together, but I hated when they kissed. I thought it was disgusting. It was so disgusting. So yeah, I'm happy that that it sank. I'm glad that that ship sank. I'm not upset that Rumbell is sank, but as long as they don't come back, I think that'd be a good thing. I don't think Rumple and Bell need to come back either. Let's see. OUAT19 said, what main character would you like to die? You have to pick. I have to pick one. If I have to see a character die on the show, Charming or Snow White. That's who I would give it to. I don't think there's a reason to keep either of them on the show anymore. I've always said to throw them back into a supporting character role, allow them to be kind of mentors or whatnot. I just don't see their point. I also really am losing the point of Henry on the show, but that's who I would have to see if someone died. I would go with Charming or Snow White. By the way, I'm sorry I can't get the chat to show up on the side. I know a couple people when they do their streams can do that. I don't know how to do it. I Googled it. It seems really, really weird to figure out. So that's why I always make sure to read all your comments. So if anyone comes back to watch this later, we know I'm looking at a comment box. Caitlin Schultz said, what is the one thing you want to see happen in 6B? Well, I want to see a Tangled arc. I really, really, really want to see a Tangled arc. I know it might be a little repetitive, but I want to see Rapunzel from Tangled be adapted on the show. I also like to see Princess and the Frog adapted. The reason why I throw those two out is, I talked about them earlier today. I don't think Moana's ready to come to the show because it's still in the theaters, but I think that Princess and the Frog or Tangled should be adapted on the show relatively soon. I think that'd be really, really fun to see. Let me just make sure. Do I think Belle will kill Rumple? No, I don't. Rumple also can't die since he's a dark one. So I don't think Rumple is going to die at the hands of Belle, Avelia Gomez. Insanely Ashley asked, how would Tangle fit in? As to how they would fit it in, I'm not 100% sure. I could, if I sat back and thought about it, I probably could make a whole video connecting a Tangled arc. They fit in Frozen, they fit in Brave, they can fit in Tangled. It's very, very possible. It depends on where 6A ends, in all fairness. Do I think there'll be a Captain Swan wedding? I do. I think that's coming because I saw a script tease where Hook asked Regina to marry him. Not Regina, Emma. Hook asked Emma to marry him. So I do think a Captain Swan wedding is coming. Prince of the Birds 357 said, I love to see something with a black cauldron. There's a lot Once Upon a Time could do with that. Yes, I think that would be another great movie to have as well. I really liked The Black Cauldron. It's not one of my favorite Disney films, but I think it's a good dark one for like the lesser known. It's a cult film, and I think with the Horn King, he'd be a perfect antagonist to add to the show. Kevin Cetus asked, would I want to see The Emperor's New Groove Once Upon a Time? Maybe in like a one-off comic-based episode, but not for like an arc or for a couple episodes. That would be an untold story if they did like The Emperor's New Clothes, which is what The Emperor's New Groove is based off. So I think that would work really well. So let's see. OUET09 said, off topic, but will you be getting a Nintendo Switch? Yes, I will. I have been playing my Nintendo 3DS for the past week, trying to play Pokemon Sun and Moon. And I believe Nintendo Switch is going to give us Pokemon Stars or Star. I'll be getting that. I love Pokemon. One of my favorite things to play. Just want to make sure I get all your comments. Didn't they do Rapunzel season 3? If they had to return to that story, should Film the Writer and Mother Goth be back? That was asked by 2PlayCool21. They did Rapunzel, but they've also done, they've done two, 3 Ursula, so they can give us a couple of Rapunzels. If you can have 3 Ursulas, I think it's very possible to have 2 Rapunzels. It's very easy, especially if you have Rapunzel with the magic hair. That's really what I liked about Tangled. Once Upon a Time Insider said, which ship was better, Captain Swan or Outlaw Queen? I'm going to give it to Captain Swan. I think Outlaw Queen felt a little rushed. The whole Marion thing was a fiasco, I feel, when they brought her back and it was really Zelena. So I really do think that Captain Swan is a much stronger ship than Outlaw Queen. Blossom Nugent said, it's interesting because the title changes mean newborn babies of fairies and are switched out with teen babies. Oh yes, that's exactly what changeling means. So I'm not really sure. Actually, I know what it means. So they really did interconnect the title here. That was really cool. Danielle said, what about the Swan Princess? Do you think Emma fills that role because of her last name, or do you think they could bring Princess of Dead and Prince Derek? They probably could bring the Swan Princess, like, it's more of a story, like actually transform someone into a swan, have a villain from the Swan Princess appear, maybe give it to Prince Derek. But at the same time, I kind of feel that Emma is filling the role of Odette without having actually had it specifically stated. Do you think we'll be having more of the Black Fairy story from Anna B? I think that's very possible. I would like to see more of the Black Fairy. If they just have her in this one episode, I will be a little disappointed. Once Upon a Time Insider asked me, do I think Captain Swan will last? My answer is yes. I do think they're going to last for a long time unless they kill Emma. If they kill Emma, then obviously it's going to go. If you kill Emma, there's really no way to bring her back at this point. No one's going back to the underworld. If they do, I think that'd be really ridiculous. These have been great questions, but guys, keep them coming if you want. I really have been enjoying discussing. So I'm just going to quickly scroll back into the stream. Hogwarts streamer 113 said, bring back Hyde would be cool, except in the original Aladdin, Genie specified that he cannot bring the dead back to life. Yes, that's actually like one of the laws of magic, I believe, that you can't resurrect the dead. So I'm not, I don't think that Aladdin will be able to resurrect the dead because we can't break it. We can't break that law of magic, though. Magical law has been broken many, many times on this show. But I think if you bring back the dead, you need to bring them back, like literally plucking their soul out of the underworld. Once Upon a Time 09 said, do you think this will be the last season? I did a whole 20-minute video discussing whether or not I think this is the last season of Once Upon a Time. It seems that it's going in that direction because it's come full circle. I don't want it to be the last season because I really want to see Moana adapted on the show because I really feel that Moana would work so well on the show. So I don't want it to be the last season. It's so funny because when I watched Frozen in 2013, I didn't expect for me to say, oh, Frozen comes Once Upon a Time. And then I loved it. And then I loved Brave Once Upon a Time. And now I really, really, really want to see Moana. So in my own mind, I wouldn't want it to get canceled until Moana, Tangled, and Princess and the Frog all gets adapted. But that's me. Once Upon a Time Insider asked me, do you think there's still darkness inside of Emma since she was the only dark one to lose their power and not die? I think it's gone. I really do think that the dark magic inside of her is gone. I don't think that it's still like lingering or attached to her. It's, to my perspective, it's gone. It's in Rumple. Rumple has all the darkness. Kevin Ceta said, what about a cloning spell to bring a dead person as a new person? Oh, that'd be interesting. That'd be really, really interesting. Who knows? The show can go in so many different directions. Bernard Johnson, number 2, said in 3B, Rumple was talking about how he has a Black Fairy's wand. So do you think he may have already killed her? I think that's actually possible too, that at some point he does go after his mom and he decides to kill her. So I would like to see that battle. I think back in season 2, they talked about a battle between Rumpelstiltskin and Cora, and they never gave us that battle. So if they gave us the battle between Rumple and the Black Fairy, I think that would be really, really, really cool. Do you think the witch from Into the Woods could be an untold story? Yeah, possibly. I really liked Into the Woods, the Disney musical adaptation, or the musical movie adaptation. I really did like Into the Woods, but I don't think untold stories are a thing anymore at this point. Just, I know, as I said, it was hype. You know, we all knew it was hyped up to be this, and then it just really seemed to become a Evil Queen story-based season. So I don't see I don't see untold stories coming unless they want to use it for plot points, because we still need to fix the Aladdin storyline. That's That's a problem. We need to figure out where Jafar is. All right, so I'm going to answer just about 2 or 3 more questions. So whichever ones I see, we'll discuss, and then we'll sign off, and then we'll talk about ones probably on Wednesday or Thursday when this first sneak peek comes out. I really wish they came out on Tuesdays. All right. Do you think Hook would be good with kids from Once Upon a Time Insider? I think he'd be very good with kids. He's very good with Henry. He really seemed to like Ashley's little girl, so I think he's a very good dad, or good guy to interact with kids. I'm not sure if he's how good of a father he is. That I don't know, but I think he'd be really, really great if he has a child with Emma. Evala Gomes asks, why was Regina's heart black? It's been black because of all the deeds she's done, all the evil deeds she's done. You know, she's killed a lot of people. She cast the dark curse, so that's why it's kind of hard to unreform the darkness within her heart at this point. Even with all the good she's done, it's still definitely going to be black. Even Snow White's heart, I think, has like a black speck in it still. So it's hard to. It's kind of one of those things like when you commit sin, you can't wipe it away. So that's why she just can't wipe away her sins. Once Upon a Time Christmas special now. Yes, that was from 2PlayCool21. I would think it'd be excellent to get a Once Upon a Time Christmas special. I would love to see it. Joe has discussed seeing Nightmare Before Christmas adaptation on Once Upon a Time many times, and I think Jack Skellington would be a great character to see on Once Upon a Time. I really, really would love to see that done. I really would like it. But anyway, guys, I think that's it for me for now for this episode. I think what I'm gonna do after the finale, unfortunately, I don't think that Joe will be able to attend the finale episode either. So it'll just be me again. I'll do it around this. Excuse me. If this time was convenient for all of you, let me know. If you want me to do a little earlier around 10, I'll do it at 10. If not, I'll keep it at 11. Because I know a couple people were saying that they want to be involved and they missed it because I did it too early. So tell me what time you would like. This is fine. It doesn't really matter. But if not, I'll do it at 11 next week. And then after that, what I want to do just to keep the mojo going is I'm going to do a couple of live stream reviews, watching the episode and commenting on them. I'll try to do episodes that are not that have not been commentated on by the that have not been commentated on by the writers and stuff. So I'll try to find episodes that I really like to watch. I want to do a live commentary of Smash the Mirror and Shattered Sight really badly, and especially with winter coming up, or Christmas, I will be doing one of those. Paris Stars 808 just asked me, can I do live reviews of sneaks? I like to do those sneak peek reviews with the full video so I can edit it. I think I'm just gonna keep the sneak peek reviews as is, just because that involves a little bit more editing. This is a chat with all of us, and it's at a designated time. I do the sneak peek reviews when I get the second. All right, so cool. All of you are saying to keep 11 o'clock, so that's when I'll do it. So next week at 11 o'clock, we'll be doing this this time. Thank you all for telling me that. I really, really appreciate it. Last thing from OUET09 says, what do you think of Legends of Zelda Arc? I heard Disney tried to get the rights to the movie. I'm not sure. I actually have only played one Legends of Zelda game. I'm not sure what Disney would do if they got the movie and if it would move to Once Upon a Time. We have seen the trend of movies coming to the show almost right away with Frozen and Brave, but I'm not sure if I'm not sure if video games are ready. By the way, Once Upon a Time Insider, I already did The Apprentice. I did The Apprentice live with Joe about 2 months ago. That's actually already up here. We did a whole watch with us audio commentary of it. That was an anniversary that we had. It was the first episode of Once Upon a Time that we reviewed, which is why we picked it. So I think the one I'll do the week after next is I'll do Shattered Sight. I'll probably do Shattered Sight or Smash the Mirror. I'll do a poll. If you guys follow me on Twitter, _Robert is where I'll pull the poll, and you guys can vote for that. And I think we're all set. I know I've said that a couple times, but I'm good. So thank you all for tuning in with me tuning into this live review. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time chatting with all of you. And make sure to share your comments in the. I know the comment box vanishes, so when this is gone, write down your comments, keep the chat going so we can keep discussing. Insanely Ashley has asked me for Dark Side of the Other 10. All right, I'll do a poll. I'll think of a couple season 4 episodes I want to discuss, and just check out Twitter, and that's where I will vote for them. Also, by the way, the easiest way if you really want to get in touch with me is my Snapchat. That's like the app I use all the time. I use Instagram a lot too. Instagram and Snapchat are my 2 big apps. So if you want to talk to me outside of YouTube, because sometimes it's just so hard to keep up with everything, Snap is the best to get me at Rob678. So I'll tweet at @Robert. That's also my Instagram, and I'll be on Snap if you guys want to talk to me as well. So anyway, again, you guys are all awesome. Thanks for watching with me, and I'll watch. We'll be discussing, blanking on episode 10's name, but we'll watch the mid-season finale or discuss the mid-season finale in a week. All right, guys, we'll talk soon. Bye.